Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome if you're new on the channel, guys. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. So guys, this is going to be a very quick one, hopefully. I am just here to talk to you guys about something that's very close to my heart, and I thought I'll just do a voiceover and just take you along on the morning routine as I get ready for work. So usually in the morning I just have a glass of warm water and some apple cider vinegar. I found that is really helpful to wake me up in the morning, but it's also sort of like very healthy. I've been doing this for years and it's helped to keep my weight in check, I would say. Anyways guys, so I am really just, as you can see from today's title, we are just going to be talking about burnout and caring professions generally, what it is, what forms it takes, and how we can take care of ourselves generally just in life. Life has so many stresses, and just how we can manage our stress. What is burnout, and what am I talking about, and what forms does this take? So burnout, so I had a quick look on Google, and the definition I came up with was that burnout is a state of emotional and physical exhaustion caused by chronic and unmanaged workplace stress. Just to say that this can be caused by anything in your life at all, anything that you're dealing with. You might not be working in a regular job, a 9 to 5 job, but you could be experiencing stress from other areas of your life. You might be a stay-at-home mom, for instance, or just caring for people generally, like in a different context where you're not being paid. So stress can come from any source at all, isn't it? So that is what burnout is. It's just unmanaged stress more generally that can cause you to come to a place where you feel emotionally and physically exhausted to the point where it's interrupts or disrupts your ability to undertake normal day-to-day tasks effectively. So this is a very common thing in social work. Given a number of factors, burnout could feel like emotional exhaustion, like I've already said. It could feel something like compassion fatigue. So this is where because in the field of social work, you're listening to people's problems most of the time and thinking about ways that you can support them through these problems. And so you can come to a point where you feel like just exhausted hearing people's problems, issues, and you could just feel fatigued and come to a point where you're even desensitized and not able to even empathize with people's problems anymore. So that is what compassion fatigue is. You could come to a point where you just lack the motivation to do anything, to carry on, because you're just so exhausted that you can't find a will in you to do so anymore. Why is it so common in social work? Why is burnout so common in social work? It is common knowledge that social workers have very high caseloads, especially if you work in areas like child protection or in children's social care. Generally, there are very high caseloads that workers usually have to juggle. It's also about the emotional intensity of the job. So you're dealing with human beings, and any work where you are dealing with human beings, human emotions, people are going through a lot, poverty, mental health issues, just life stresses generally, where they sometimes rely on unhealthy coping mechanisms to deal with life stresses, and that means that they are not in a position to be able to provide safe and reasonable care to their children. And so you have to be navigating some of these very complex dynamics, and it can be very emotionally exhausting if care is not taken, if you're not taking care of yourself properly. So that really is what burnout is. I have personally experienced burnout when I was during my first year of practice. So I am in my second year practicing as a social worker now. I know I haven't posted a video on the channel for a very long time, and we are due like a proper catch up, but this topic has been on my heart for a while, and I didn't want to delay it any further, which is why I have just jumped in to do this video anyway. But I would come back with a proper catch up before we continue regular posting on the channel. But I just want to share, just very briefly of an experience I had during my first year in practice. I remember one week where I came home and I was just sitting in silence for hours. Like I was just so exhausted after that day. So just for some context, my first year I was in a frontline team. I was a children and families assessment social worker. And if you know anything about assessment team, it's very fast paced, loads are high, and you need to be able to turn around your assessments very quickly, quick decision making, and implementing support and all of that. So it can be very intensive. And as a a newly qualified social worker, I had a lot to prove. I needed to pass my ASYE, so that means that I kept going and going and going. And I just got to the point where I was feeling so exhausted. In one particular week, I came home one of the days in those weeks, sat for hours, couldn't do anything that day. The following day, I got up and wanted to keep going, but I just couldn't. And I came to the point where I was feeling very anxious when I would open my laptop and open my emails and try to do some work. I just can't do it. I just felt like screaming, and I just had to, email my manager and say that I couldn't work that day. I had to contact my GP, and someone had to, get in touch with me later to discuss my mental health and all of that. Thankfully, it wasn't that serious. I hadn't gotten to the point of a severe mental health crisis. Just having the opportunity to catch a break, take that day off. I think I had a few days off that week. And just having, the space to speak about how I was feeling, and all of that was just really helpful to help me regain, come back to my normal self and then go back to work eventually. So yeah, it's a very important topic that needs to be discussed more in social work. One thing that I appreciate that is talked about a lot is that social workers need to take care of themselves. You need to, prioritize yourself. So, and prioritize healthcare wherever you can, and just have things outside of work that helps to keep you grounded and just that helps to take you away from the stresses of the work. Let's talk about some things that we can do to help better manage our emotional and mental well-being whilst in this kind of job, which, like we've said, can be very emotionally draining and even physically draining sometimes. And if you are not prioritizing your self-care, then you might find yourself at a point where you feel really burnt out and can't carry on anymore. So let's think about things like things that can help us better manage our mental health. So things that come to mind for me includes journaling, writing down your thoughts about how you feel about work or how your day has gone can be really helpful. So one thing that we used to do during my student placement days, or even during my first year in practice when I was newly qualified, was just having reflective logs. So that can be a really helpful way for you to just pause and reflect on how a visit has gone, for instance, or how a session, a virtual session with, a family has gone, or a conference has gone for you, or any sort of meeting that you've had that you found really challenging or emotionally draining. Having an opportunity to pause and, write out your thoughts on how that went for you, how you thought you did, how you thought the interactions went, and all of that can be very helpful. Another thing that you can do is to just have a debrief with a friend, a colleague at work to similarly talk about, how a visit has gone for you or how a meeting has gone for you, just having a fresh perspective, a fresh look at it. But also it's just having, a listening ear and an opportunity to talk out those emotions can be really helpful. Another thing that you can do is to request for supervision with your manager or, any supervisors that you have in your team. And sometimes the advanced practitioners, you might be in the early years of your practice like myself, so you can speak to an advanced practitioner if you don't want to speak to your manager, because supervisions can be formal and informal, and in social work we do have regular supervision scheduled in anyway, so you can wait for them to speak to your manager, or you can request an informal supervision and just have an informal chat if you've had like a very difficult visit or interactions with family or other professionals even. Just, use the reflective space to help you talk about or bring out those emotions as well. Something else that you can do is to set boundaries and say no when you need to recharge. because like sometimes you have your week plan, you have your day plan, and things just keep coming in, and there's a tendency for you to keep taking things on, where you need to learn to draw the boundary lines. You need to learn to say, okay, I have so much on right now. You need to learn to stop and ask, speak to your manager to say that you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe the caseload is getting really, really high for you and it's beginning to impact you. So again, going back to, requesting an informal talk with your manager to talk through some of those issues, but knowing where to draw boundaries, and boundaries with, taking your lunch break, for instance, trying not to work out of office hours unless you really need to, taking your toil when you've worked out of hours. That's an opportunity for you to also rest and recharge and just, do something personally that would help you to keep you grounded. You can also, prioritize your social life as well, just to have some balance in your life, connecting with community, church, family back home, if you are an immigrant like myself. So just maintain a connection back home, still keep in touch with your friends that you still have that, relationship with. Yeah. Unplugging from work talk during your free time. Try not to bring work from home as much as possible. If you're like me and you work from home, that can be very difficult. But again, going back to boundaries, you need to be able to set the time for work and time for, okay, we've closed now, let's focus on other things, let's try other hobbies, let's read if you're into that, let's watch something, or let's work on a passion project, whatever it is that can help take your mind away from work into a different space. So that's something else that you can do. Another thing that I'm doing that is helping me is just keeping on top of my fitness, getting physical. So I do work out sometimes, but I'm not working out to lose weight or anything significant like that, just to help with my mental health. So I do low impact workouts. Like I got myself a walking pad, so I do that. And this is a good point to just share, because recently a brand reached out to me to try out their all-in-one fitness products. They are called GymProLuxe. Now, I'll be honest, guys, I'm not a hardcore gym person. I like things that are simple, effective, and easy to fit into my routine and busy schedule. And this all-in-one workout tool from GymProLuxe definitely ticks all those boxes. It comes with 3 different resistance bands at different weights, a belt attachment and handles, and you can adjust the setup depending on what type of workout you want to do. Everything fits into this one compact unit, which makes it perfect for home workouts or small spaces. What I love is that the resistance is customizable, so whether you're doing squats, rows or curls, or even glute kickbacks, you can switch up the tension and make it work for your level. I've mostly been using it for lower back and core workouts. It's super helpful when I don't have time for a full gym session after work, but I still want to move and feel stronger. The belt is a nice feature too. It helps to distribute weights during things like squats or standing exercises, which takes the pressure off your back and really targets the legs. This tool is great for anyone looking for a portable workout setup, adjustable resistance for gradual progress, and something that's low impact but still effective. It's also ideal if you're working long hours or studying and just want a quick 20-minute movement break that actually feels worth it. For me as a social worker, there are days when I carry so much emotional weight, and this has been one helpful way to connect with my body and release some of that stress. It's not about fitness or aesthetics for me. It's about feeling stronger, grounded, and more in tune with myself. Okay guys, thank you so much if you've watched to this point. This pretty much brings us to the end of today's video. Just a little encouragement for you. If you are currently a student social worker, or you are an experienced practitioner, whether in the early years of your career or more advanced in the field of social work, I just want to encourage you to take care of your emotional and your mental health, and just prioritize your self-care as much as possible. Maintain some good balance in your life between, work and other areas of your life. Just remember that you cannot pour out of an empty cup, guys. You really cannot. And the more you take care of yourself, the more you're in a position to be able to support as much people as you can. And there's no shame in feeling drained or burnt out. What matters is that you notice this and make small, meaningful changes that would, in the long run, improve your overall health and mental well-being. So yes, guys, just take care of yourself is all I'm trying to say. And thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I am going to link the products I mentioned earlier, the all-in-one fitness band from GymProLuxe in the description box below. Please do check it out if you're curious, and do place an order if you feel it would be good to incorporate into your routine as well. And yeah, guys, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. Like this video, share it with anyone who might find it encouraging. And yeah, guys, I'm not yet back to regular posting, but I'm hoping to come back soon with some life updates, and then hopefully we can go back to regular posting from there. If you have any video suggestions that you would like me to post on the channel, please do leave it in the comment section below. Also, just leave anything that you do to help you keep on top of your mental health and help you manage stress and burnout in your life. Leave those in the comment section below as well. I'm sure others would find it helpful. Any tips that you have to share. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you in my next one. Bye for now.